USAID's recommended approach to research utilization involves a step-by-step research to action or R2A plan. The first step in developing an R2A plan must be setting R2A goals. The R2A goals define the programmatic, policy, or strategic outcome you want to achieve using your research findings. They differ from your research goals, which are focused on what questions you would like your research to answer. After establishing your R2A goals, you will identify your R2A objectives, which are smaller, specific steps towards achieving each goal. Each subsequent step of the R2A process should reflect your R2A goals and objectives. So be sure you understand what you are trying to achieve when addressing these other steps. Identifying and learning about stakeholders is an essential piece of research to action. A stakeholder is an individual or group who has influence over or is influenced by the research either directly or indirectly, or who has an interest in it. There are two levels of stakeholders, primary and secondary. Primary stakeholders are often decision makers. They have direct power or influence to achieve the R2A goals, or they are potential end users of the research results. Primary stakeholders can be politicians and high-level officials, but depending on your R2A goals, they can also be students, farmers, or community members. Secondary stakeholders can influence primary decision makers. Remember that secondary stakeholders can either be an obstacle or asset to your goals. The next R2A step is ongoing interaction with these stakeholders throughout the research process. You can engage stakeholders in many ways as you continue your research, including through interviews, group meetings, advisory panels, research site visits, and workshops. Engaging stakeholders can help you increase research uptake in several ways. It does this first by building their sense of ownership of research activities and results. Second, by ensuring your research is responsive to stakeholder needs and relevant to policy or program goals. And third, by raising potential end users' awareness of it. Stakeholder identification and engagement should begin as early as possible in the research timeline and continue as an ongoing adaptive process. When developing your research to action plan, be sure to think ahead about how you will leverage windows of opportunity. A window of opportunity is a period of time within which some action can be taken that is likely to achieve a desired outcome. There are many different types of windows of opportunity. For example, the time during which a government budget is proposed, debated, and finalized can be an opportunity to influence what gets funded and how much funding is allocated. International Days of Recognition can be opportunities to publicize research through print and radio media spots, local events, and social media campaigns. Annual conferences and convenings can be opportunities to meet with specific groups of stakeholders and share results. A great way to engage your stakeholders is to reach out to them for ideas about upcoming opportunities. Then, create a timeline and task list to plan how to take advantage of these windows. To achieve your research to action goals, you will need to carefully craft key messages about your findings that are understandable and meaningful to your target audience. Your key messages should include three main components. Number one, your findings. These are your data and information selected and presented to appeal to your audience. Number two, the implications of your findings. The implications are the so what, or why these findings should matter to your audience. And number three, your recommendations. What are you asking your audience to do? Once you have crafted your key messages, package them in formats that are appropriate and user-friendly for your audiences. Different audiences may be more reachable by and responsive to different communication formats. For example, the general public may be most likely to see and respond to a news article or social media post, while program managers may be more likely to spend time reviewing a case study or in-depth product. If you have done your stakeholder analysis, You should have an idea of how and where your stakeholders prefer to get their information. Throughout the research to action process, make sure you are tracking progress towards your goals. Identifying desired outputs and outcomes based on your R2A goals helps you determine if your activities are advancing those goals or if you need to adapt your approach. Above all, remember that creating a research to action plan is not a one-time event. Your R2A plan is meant to be a living document that can be updated as your research advances and you identify new opportunities.